Welcome to everyone at home. We have a very exciting panel today. First, we will touch on opportunities Snap AR provides creators, developers, and partners to build more innovative AR solutions and monetize their skill set. Then you're going to hear from four incredible members of our Snap Lens network on how they leverage the new Lens Studio 4.0 technologies and our new products that we launched at SPS to build some of our most innovative AR solutions to date. Now, I'm going to pass it over to Siobhan, who will go into more detail about the Snap Lens network, opportunities for building AR on Snap, and the future of our AR ecosystem.
Thanks, Sophia. Hi, everyone. My name is Siobhan Hart, and I lead AR developer programs at Snap. And as you've heard, the team is rolling out some changes to increase our investment in the developer ecosystem this year. And that all starts with the Snap Lens network, which we're introducing as an update to the official Lens Creator program. Starting now, any Lens creator, developer, or partner with a verified profile on Snapchat will be part of our network, which means they'll be eligible to collaborate with peers, find paid opportunity to work with brands and companies, receive funding to pursue experimental projects, and gain access to our most advanced AR tools before they become publicly available. We're excited to continue to build and evolve the network over time, ensuring that we provide the right opportunities for developers in our ecosystem based on their skills and long-term goals. And we know that a primary goal for many creators and developers is to generate substantial income from their work, which is why we're pleased to share that any creator in the network can apply to be featured in our brand new Creator Marketplace. We launched the Marketplace because we wanted to provide a more seamless way for creators to display their work, increase their revenue, and establish long-term business relationships with brands and companies that are launching sponsored lenses on Snapchat or incorporating lenses in their own apps through Camera Kit. But that's not the only way creators can be paid for their work. We also want to reward the developers that are taking risks and are interested in pursuing projects that truly push the boundaries of what a lens is today. And that's why we launched Ghost, Snap's AR Innovation Lab, designed to fund and support the next generation of lenses built on our platforms. Through Ghost, we'll invest up to $150,000 per project, where developers are tasked with building lenses that operate more like products than filters. Developers can apply to build products that help people learn, play, shop, or solve problems in their everyday lives. As a starting point, most of these projects will focus on mobile experiences, but we've carved out a special track for developers that want to build products designed specifically for spectacles, our first pair of glasses that bring augmented reality to life. So we've got an exciting future ahead of us, and we can't wait to see how the next generation of lenses move the AR ecosystem forward. So before I turn it back to Sophia, I'll leave you with a bit of inspiration and a quick reminder of some of the latest work creators have produced with Lens Studio and Spectacles over the past few months. Enjoy.
As an artist, I'm constantly thinking about the different ways that I can tell stories and share my vision of the world to people.
I first saw them and I was like, how does all this technology fit into something so small?
The new spectacles are going to allow you to overlay anything you want onto the real world.
I like using technology to delight people and immerse them in a world that they couldn't experience in reality. Because I really wanted to use AR in a therapeutic sense, looking at the ebb and flow of water and sea creatures. I think that really inspires my creation.
As a Black artist, I feel like a lot of young, up-and-coming artists are not represented. I wanted to showcase their work in an augmented reality gallery in 3D and show them in a light that is beautiful and just inspirational. Now I can actually walk around and see what I'm capturing and get cool shots to share with my friends. I feel like this generation is gonna finally push the new digital frontier. This is gonna change the game forever.
So I loved New Mexico, and I really wanted to sort of create a love poem to New Mexico and an immersive history lesson.
You are standing on the rim of the Valle Caldera.
I love these historic road signs. They're sort of these funny, archaic things, and I love the idea that it might bring new life to this old way that we used to give people information.
I think AR is about having a conversation with the world. I always go back to try to ask really essential questions. What makes us human? What makes us happy? What does it mean to be alive and communicating? I love poetry. I love language. I love words. What would it feel like to walk through a poem?
Lens Studio is the Swiss Army knife of augmented reality creation.
The marriage between Lens Studio and these spectacles, they're two devices that were literally designed to work together, so it's such a seamless development experience.
It does feel like magic when you are working on the program Lens Studio and then you push it to spectacles and then it's there. It's right in front of you. And it wasn't there a moment ago. I'm actually coding on this thing. I'm experiencing stuff I've made in it.
For me, solving problems is always like human-centered design first. It's all just trial and error of figuring out how to make this experience the best that it can be.
The future of AR feels like shared experiences, shared realities.
Having artists be a part of the conversation when these things are emerging, I think is going to create a kinder and gentler world.
I want to create a world where people feel uplifted, and I want them to feel heard.
AR is such an opportunity to create a more inclusive world. We may not like the way that we've always done that with technology, but this is an opportunity to create a new way.
This is how we're going to do things in the future, and it's now.
Create the world you want to see.
Thanks, Siobhan. Without further ado, very excited to introduce you to everyone on this panel today. Thanks so much for being here. Clay, if you can, start us off with some intros.
Hi, I'm Clay Weishar. I'm an augmented reality creator and experience designer based out of Los Angeles, California.
Andre?
Hi, I'm Andre Elijah. I'm an AR creator and immersive director based out of Toronto.
Hey, everybody. I'm Kat Harris. I am a spectacles creator based out of Los Angeles, engineer and designer.
Hi, I'm Mike Butera, the founder of Artiphon. We design musical instruments and now AR musical experiences.
Great. Thank you all for coming today. I'm very excited about this discussion, so let's just dig into it. The first question is, what does augmented reality mean to you, and what does a meaningful AR future look like to you?
For me, augmented reality is a way of me taking my creativity and bringing it into the physical world and integrating it in a really kind of cool way. So basically taking what's in my imagination and seeing it active in the physical world.
Amazing.
For us, it's really about empowering people to be creative, going from traditional notions of musicianship or instruments or training, and now getting into just really immediate creativity. I think AR lets people do that by being, more immersed in the experience.
Yeah, and just to add with all of that, what I would like to have in a meaningful future is to have digital information, accessible with my physical world at any time and at all times when I choose to see it. So.
I love that.
Yeah, and for me, being able to operate and work digitally, but then just see everything represented in the real world is kind of amazing. To fill up space, to kind of, add a breath of fresh air to, a shared environment, that just seems like a lot of fun.
Amazing. Yeah, and if you all have very unique backgrounds getting into augmented reality, and so would love to hear from each of you how augmented reality has changed or evolved since you've been working in the space.
When I started with augmented reality, it was these little codes that you had to point your phone at. And it was a little bit awkward. It was super cool technology, but seeing it evolve to where we are now is really mind blowing, because we're moving towards this seamless integration of digital and physical, and just being able to go to a location, experience augmented reality paired with the physical environment is unbelievable. And that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I first started getting into AR, it was really industrial use cases and really expensive headsets, and it was seen as a really nerdy thing. And then you take a look now and everyone has, filters and digital wearables and, you know, a whole breadth of experiences that they don't consider to be AR. And now it's just a way of life. So that's been the major shift that I've seen over a few years.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing to see, like, again, like the cards were the only way to track anything, and now we have multiple technologies where you can use just your phone and a regular camera to place, like, anything can be an anchor now. And it's like the high fidelity tracking where, you know, a couple years ago that was unheard of. And it's like you had to have a tracker. And now it's pretty much seamless and integrated everywhere, and kind of like almost like a toy for everyone to use and play with whenever they want. And it's amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of how we approach it too, like just the playfulness of it. And with music, I think it's especially affected by this shift. I know I'm biased, but because, you know, music's kind of been caught in sound for so long, and now we can think about it as an audio-visual medium. And so, you know, I think that opens it up for people. It kind of pulls back the curtain on what music actually is, which is more than just the sound itself. It's an interactive experience. So yeah, that's I think it's about to hit, you know, that idea for music, but I think we've seen it a lot in what people are doing otherwise, involving sound in general.
Great. So this question is for Clay and Kat. So how has having access to spectacles changed how you think about AR?
I mean, for me, it's really interesting because spectacles is on this like cusp of having an audience that already knows about augmented reality through lenses and their phone. And now with spectacles, you can just shift that audience's perspective literally to just having a wearable on your face. And it's so easy to use. And they're already familiar with the tools that it's like, I'm really excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, a seamless jumping off point for people instead of like, you know, those industrial big headsets that like, you know, traditional AR companies have made in the past, where it's like, wow, we now have a new headset, you know, headset being just glasses. And for me, it's really exciting to see like the opportunity that it gives people and like the new lenses and the new experiences that people will be able to create with them.
Yeah, I think when I first put them on, I was blown away with how light it was, and just moving from hand fatigue and, you know, experiencing AR this way to a lightweight solution on your face felt incredible. And designing with the new spectacles has totally changed my workflow. It's really made me think a lot more about creating a fully immersive and interactive experience, and really thinking about like pleasing interactions that the user can have. I think with traditional lens creation, you're so used to creating stuff that you can capture and integrate in the environment and do it as capture. But when you're wearing spectacles, you're walking around and just experiencing things in real time in a much more immersive way.
Yeah, you touched on the tools and Lens Studio, which I think is a really great segue to talk to Andre and Mike. And so, you know, Mike and Andre had the opportunity to get the newly released 4.0 technology from Lens Studio a little bit early, and they built lenses with it. And so we'd love to hear from them, you know, how has having access to the upcoming technology just changed your perspective on the future of AR?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is because I was working with the Scantech. This is the first time that I can create an application or an experience or a lens that understands the world around me basically instantly. And getting up and running is, you know, no hassle at all. Traditionally, you know, if you're going to make an AR experience, it's, you know, you load up a game engine, then you have a machine learning model, and there's, you know, a million layers to get all that up and running. And now it's just add the model, you know, it understands the world, let's attach some things, and bam, we've got an experience that just clicks.
Yeah, we're using Scan to, we had this idea to turn everyday objects into musical instruments. And so Scan was just a really easy fit for that. And then we kind of designed these origami inspired stickers that the objects in the world turn into these sort of origamis. But actually, we ended up using Audio ML for some really cool stuff too, with building in this model that was trained on a jazz musician. So it kind of feels like a collaboration as a user's interacting with these objects. They're kind of collaborating with this embedded musician that they're kind of playing along with. So that was a really cool way and really fast development to kind of build this smart instrument right into the lens.
Yeah, and it's really fun. Very excited for everyone watching and also everyone on this panel to try it. So yeah, thanks, Mike, for talking quite a bit about the lens that Artiphone built. Would love to hear from everyone else about the lens that you've been working on and digging into some of the tech that you've been utilizing.
Yeah, so for mine, it's a Happy Habits. So it's a habit forming app that basically you load it up and it takes a look at whatever's in front of you, whether it's a meal or a glass of water or a drink or a book. And it allows you to basically check off, all the items that you do in a day to kind of have happy habits and a really great lifestyle. So, you can scan a dog and it'll recognize, hey, I'm now taking the dog for a walk, or I can scan my shoes and it'll understand, hey, I'm, getting in my exercise for the day. And because of the persistent storage, it understands what you're doing over the span of a week. So you can compare, from Monday to Thursday, how did my schedule change in that, I could only do maybe 3 of the 6 tasks. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of build that out and see that you can have a lens with, real utility that can kind of come back to every single day like you would a traditional app. And it's just a part of your day-to-day life.
Yeah, so my experience is called Dance Helper, and it was very much inspired by being in quarantine and wanting to go out and dance. And so it's a spectacles experience where it teaches you traditional Latin dances, and it allows you to choose like your settings. So you can have a metronome, you can have a clip of music be playing, and you can have little markers on the floor or in front of you. And as you get better, you can change the settings so that it becomes harder. You can also change the speed of, the steps. So as you get better, you can get even faster. And, it also has persistent storage. So whatever your settings are for the level that you're at, it'll stay until you get better to a certain point. And then, hopefully once everything opens up again, you can take what you learned and use it in an actual bar. Yeah.
So
I'm very excited.
So to also say your dance has improved.
Yes. Yeah. Ironically, I was like, oh, since I'm making the lens, I won't have to work on my dance skills. No, they definitely improved. And so even if you are good at dancing, you can still use this lens to learn new dances.
Amazing.
The experience I created is called Metascapes, and it's a augmented reality meditation app. And over a series of 60 seconds, you go through a box breathing exercise. There's this sort of breathing guide bubble that for inhaling and exhaling. And after every exhale, you create a new creature in your environment. And after a full minute of doing these breathing exercises, you're invited to walk around and explore the immersive experience. And it's part audio, part visual experience. So all the creatures that are created through the breathing exercises are spatially reactive. So when you get close to them, you trigger a pattern and a sound, and you can almost play it like a musical instrument. And it was really inspired by just wanting to give people time in their day to relax, recharge, and focus on their own personal well-being.
Great. So I think, a common thread of what you all are building and really pioneering is using AR to bring value to people's lives, which is, quite a shift from former, augmented reality lenses that were more designed to go viral. Can you just talk a little bit more about this shift that you guys are really pioneering, but then also that, you hope for it in the industry as a whole.
What Clay just reminded me of was the old Nintendo Wii Fit board, the flame kind of balance thing, which was so many years ago, but it felt like, oh yeah, like games can be really healthy and calming and all that. And I do think we're all looking for those experiences to center us and be creative. It sounds like that's a really common thread.
Yeah, like what I find interesting is that tools don't have to be boring. Like tools to help people, like sure, if they're designed to be efficient and like minimal, great. But like just like Mike was saying, games can also be tools and training, and you can make tools fun and exciting. And so it's really cool to see how all the new tools that Snap is giving developers can help us build off of that even more and build specific tools for, helping people dance, helping people relax, helping people, experience their world like a little differently to the point where, it can form a healthy habit. Or learn a new instrument. Yeah. So it's like, for me, I've always made tools. Like in my past, I worked for Microsoft, and that was my job, was to make tools for people. So it's really amazing to see how so many more companies are also just saying like, yeah, we can make tools too, but we can also make it fun and make our tools so easy to use that anyone can do it, even without, being a software developer for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and to Sophia's point about, lenses typically being built to go viral, I think, the added utility and features now, it kind of changes our goals in terms of, we're not looking for that 30-second, dopamine hit and that, that really perfect picture perfect moment. And it's, it's now a matter of employing long-term thinking of, how do you provide value over a longer stretch of time? How do you create something that people constantly come back to and integrate as part of their lives? And so I think as this, new functionality starts to, come into Lens Studio, it's gonna require a different way of thinking in terms of, how do we provide value to users over the long haul, as opposed to just, 30 seconds, a minute for that quick fix.
What's really exciting about the next generation of spectacles is, what I noticed is it's just so much more human to just be putting on a pair of glasses and experiencing AR and not the hand fatigue or any of that. And, where AR is headed with computer vision and the camera getting extremely smart, we don't have to think about our interface. The world's our interface, and it's going to respond to us. And that really affords this sort of beautiful like way of the interface kind of moving out of the flat screen and kind of molding to the human experience. And it's super exciting. And there's so many opportunities to just rethink design with that.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time for sure. A lot of you touched on these tools. And so would love to hear from you all, what other tools are really valuable to you in your process outside of Lens Studio, of course. Kat, do it first. Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to tools, it's for me at least very interesting because I work with a variety of game engines now. So for me, it's any tool that makes my life easier for any engine that I'm on. So usually it's like a third-party plugin. And what's interesting about it too is that at least for me, like Unity has been my tool of choice. So, but learning, Lens Studio, I was like, this is so much easier. Like Unity is great at a lot of things, but like creating a lens so quickly, I was like, why have I been torturing myself trying to create my own experience when Snap has provided all of these great tools for me? And I was just kind of like, I should probably rethink how I'm doing AR and a lot of like these other like native tools that I like using. So it's interesting where I'm like, what tools are great for you? I'm like, well, a lot of my tools are for harder engines like MRTK. I used to use that tool all the time and still do, but now I'm like, with Lens Studio, I don't need to. It's all the functionality is already there. So it's just interesting where it's like, yeah, the tools are great. And what's so sad is that I worked on MRTK, so it's like it's my own baby that I helped create. So it's very funny to see, like, compare and contrast. Like, yes, it's great for a lot of things, but it's nice to have a plethora of tools as a developer that, like, depending on what I want to make, I know exactly where to go and how to make it, because I have so much experience with all these different engines now.
Amazing.
I would echo that sentiment, Kat. Just knowing like how it was to try to get VR, AR onto the device pre-Lens Studio was so awkward, and I almost gave up as a creator several times because of just the technical exertion you had to do to see your VR or your AR. So for me, like, the most important tools are what allow me to create very seamlessly. And I don't know, with Lens Studio, it's just so easy to push to the cloud and see on your phone. And now with Spectacles, it's the same workflow. So being able to just hit a button and see my creation come to life in real time and interact with it is phenomenal. The only other additional tools I would say for me are 3D animation software, where I create a lot of 3D models and animation. And then also the tool of just getting outside my studio and experiencing locations and really thinking about that location and having it inspire the experience.
I think for Artiphon, we started as a hardware company making like real objects, and so most of our tools have been mechanical, electrical, firmware, and into software. And now, like, this partnership was so kind of elegant because we had all these ideas that we've been working on for years, but we were kind of swimming in like you're talking about all these different tools and environments and possibilities. So Lens Studio as a as a prototyping platform for this, which is how we thought of it originally, ended up being the platform we could actually deliver the whole experience. But yeah, I mean, like the origami stuff, classic Illustrator kind of design. Our director of marketing just ended up doing all the objects, and yeah, we're a distributed team, so we're really collaborative. If it's not like in the cloud and collaborative, we're probably not using it these days.
Yeah, and for me, I'm basically Cat, but with Unreal Engine, because that's always been my baby. But it's been really interesting, the shift since I got involved with Snap and Lens Studio, because before you would have a really complicated, really heavy game engine that you'd have to pare back to be able to hit performance on a mobile device, and then you'd have all these different dependencies depending on which platform you're going to target. And then when you're talking to a brand or a company that wants to reach people, well, then you got to deal with the App Store and compressing your app to a certain size so people can download it on cellular versus Wi-Fi, and then customer acquisition. And with Lens Studio, it's all integrated. We've got a really great tool that we can prototype things with. We can then make it really pretty and gorgeous and make it visually captivating, and then push it out to basically the biggest entrenched AR market out there. People that are actively using this every single day. So it's kind of the best of every platform, every distribution platform, every tool. It's all the best, just kind of in one.
Great. Thank you for selling Snap. It was incredible.
You've changed my life. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the ecosystem is beautiful. Like, it was very nice to work with.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, like, Andre touched on a really cool thing is, like, usually if you're designing AR, maybe 25 people get to see it, these like headsets, but a super valuable tool is the feedback you get from other Snapchatters. So when you create something right away, like, it goes out to millions of potential people, and you'll hear pretty quickly if you created a bad experience, because I've learned.
Well, this is a perfect note to end on. So thank you all so much for your time. And if you want to try any of the lenses that they just described, we are going to showcase their Snap code. So you can scan the code to start playing with all of their lenses on their profile. So thank you so much again. This is a great conversation.